Real quick, while you're still here, don't forget to like, subscribe, maybe leave a comment what I should do in the future. If you like the video, maybe some things I could do to improve videos. In this little blue screen here that you see, I'm going to leave my Instagram and my Snapchat because I usually post on those a lot more than I do anything else, so go check them out.
Heyo, how's it going, YouTube? Alright, so we got a little bit different view going on here. This is coming from my phone. Yeah, I forgot my GoPro home, and I didn't feel like running back in to get it. So anyway, today we're in the Dodge for now. I recently gave the notice to the employer I was working for out here. I met the new guy, seen his operation, checked him out a little bit, so I'm pretty confident, pretty happy he's going to work out a little bit better, a little bit more into sort of my background as to what I come from, I guess. I think he's a little more what I'm looking for an employer right now. So we'll see how that all works out. But today, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to grab a couple things for making up my lunches for this week. I got to run to Costco, put some fuel in the truck, because the new workplace is a little bit further to travel to than the old one. So I'm going to do all of that. And I also want to grab some food, I guess, which would fall into the category of making lunch stuff. So I think I'll talk a little bit while I'm driving here, sort of kind of why I decided to leave the other employer. One of the main reasons was equipment. Like, I had some issues on the truck that I wrote up for a month straight, and there was nothing ever really done about it other than to look at and say, yep, it's broke. And they had it in the shop for, I don't know, half a day or a full day, and they didn't manage to find anything other than, yeah, it's broke, it's wiring. Yeah, you don't say, dude. Now, the reason why I didn't personally look at it and try to source the problem is because I'm a driver. It's not my job to fix your broken equipment unless it's necessary for me and beneficial for me to get home. If it's in the dooryard and it's broke and I've been writing it up for a month straight with the same issue and you can't bring it in, nor can you actually trace the problem, then you got a bigger problem than just the equipment and me. Okay? And if you can't afford to get it fixed properly by a professional shop, you can't afford to have me driving for you. Just plain and simple, whether you like it or not. But anyway, so that was one reason. Equipment maintenance is a big one with me, because back home, our equipment, oh yeah, the sun's right in the way. Anyway, back home, our equipment, A, looks good going down the road, and B, everything functions on it the way it's supposed to. Here, those two criteria, they were not getting met. But yeah, anyway, like, equipment maintenance is a big thing to me, because back home, every weekend, stuff was hauled in, and it was gone over, and whatever it needed, it got, and it was checked over thoroughly. There was no chafed lines, there was no weird electrical stuff happening with it. If your park lights were on, you turned your blinker on, the whole thing didn't blink like a Christmas tree. Like, none of that stuff happened. So anyway, and like, the trailers that we were pulling, they're putting on, like, I think on the run that I was on specifically, I was putting on anywhere from 1,200 to 1,300 kilometers a day. So if you're putting 12 or 1,300 on a day and you don't know enough to do standard maintenance, like, come on, dude, give me a break. You know what I mean? Like, how are you even still in business, A? And B, why? Why would you want to go through the nuisance of that? If there's one thing I hate, it's broke down equipment in the middle of the week. And they've certainly had a lot of it in the middle of the week. So anyway, that's that. Their trucks were all automatic. They were all newer. They weren't They weren't uncomfortable to drive, but I didn't prefer them just because of the model of truck that they were. They had the way sloped down nose in the front, the anteaters, if you will, and the mirrors weren't really set up right either. Like, I don't know who designed them in the factory, but they really screwed up there big time, because with the washer fluid flowing to clean the windows, and it would only clean like a quarter of the driver's side, and it's a one-piece window, so anyway, it would only clean like a quarter of the driver's view, I guess I'll say, and everything would just splash over from the passenger side onto your blind side with your mirrors where you're trying to back up. So that's really helpful if you clean your windows just before you back up anywhere. Then all the time you got to get out and clean the passenger side window all the time, and clean the mirrors all the time before you back up anywhere, unless you want to back up blind, truly blind, and not be able to see anything. So that was getting annoying for me personally, because my Pete doesn't do that. I could run my Pete for 3 months straight and never clean the windows once on it. Yeah. You want to know why? Because everything doesn't spray from the hood or from the road straight up onto the windows. Anyway, that was one thing. The other thing, once I got to looking around at the tires that they run on the trailers, some of those tires have been recapped 2 and 3 times. Alright? And I know some people are like, well, if you recap a tire, you get twice as long of running. Maybe in certain circumstances, but the more you recap a tire, the more it's likely to blow apart. And how many have I had blow apart? I had 3 or 4 blow apart in the trailers that I was hauling. And it was like all the time, basically about the same time, every trip, they would blow apart. Why? Because they were old, weather checked, and they'd been recapped 2 and 3 times. So I think, personally, and this is what we do back home, we run Salems and things of that nature, and the Black Diamonds and whatever, and we run the Chinese brand tire, which is a cheaper tire, but we always run Virgins. Because you don't have to worry about, oh, I'll buy a $600 Bridgestone and then spend another $300 on getting it recapped, and then it'll blow apart next week, and then it's useless. Basically, is my theory behind it. But anyway, they can all each do as they see fit, each to their own, if you will. So there was those issues, and the other thing is too, like, the trailers, they're beat up, man. They're beat up. They have patches welded in them everywhere, and stuff's hanging off them and bent to pieces, and stuff drove in on them every which way you can think of. And Jesus, man, like, I really don't know how they get by scales at all with them. I can't understand it. It's a good thing on the haul that I was on, I didn't have to bother going across scales, like, at all. There was one set of scales that I had to worry about, and after that, I was, like, clean shooting. It's a good thing, too. Like, anyway. And some of the mechanisms for, like, the levers, the air-activated levers, and some of them things, and whatever, and some of the stuff that you had to use to slide the Tridem on the lead trailer, and, like, I don't know, just stuff was beat up really bad around there. And it had a severe case of neglect. I think the only thing they took care of was bearings, wheel seals, and brakes. That was it. Everything else, no. Nah, if it works good enough for one day, who cares? If it doesn't work tomorrow, well, we'll worry about it and fix it tomorrow. So anyway, there was a lot of that. So I kind of got sick and tired of that. One day I had one of the trailers, and I knew the braking power was down a little bit on it, but I went to go slide up the Tridem and close it up. So it's like you're starting here and your back end's here, and you want to close them up so you can dump. Anyway, I went to go close it up, and the brakes, like, I think there was 1 or 2 wheels dragging on this Jesus trailer. So anyway, I set the brakes and got it sort of locked hard enough after jamming some crap under the wheels so that it would actually slide. And I took those back to the yard and promptly dropped them and got a different set. But anyway, I told them about the brakes and they said, oh, you gotta set them, automatic slack adjusters, set them. Personally, I've never liked an automatic slack. I've always preferred the old type with the ratchet, but they think these new automatic slacks are great, but they tend to slacken off a lot quicker than a manual ratchet will. But the other issue too is if your trailer's got automatic slacks on it, you have to change both pup and lead over to ratchet type, the old school type, which I think they'd be worth it in the long run. I don't know price wise how different they are, but with this outfit, like, anyway, it wouldn't matter, whatever. It is what it is. So there was those issues. They had me pull a set of trailers for a week, but I had to actually climb up in the box on the pup, and it usually took me plus someone else to jump on it and actually drive the box on the pup trailer back down with our body weight because there's air in the system. Anyway, they said they fixed it, but I haven't been hooked onto them again, and thank God, 'cause I'm pretty sure they didn't fix it. It looked like it hadn't moved when I dropped it in the dooryard. But anyway, that's their issue, not mine. Their pay wasn't bad if you were on a long run. If you were on a short haul, the pay was shit for a driver. It would be even worse for an owner-operator. Even on the long hauls for an owner-operator, I don't know if the pay would be any good. Yeah, so the pay rate wasn't that good. It wasn't that good at all. But anyway, I guess that's, it is what it is. It's what you get. But, yeah, sorry, getting a little distracted over here. There's a company that has some trucks along the side of the road for sale. Kind of piques my interest every now and again. So there was those issues. There was issues of pay. There was issues of miles. They claim to have steady work, keep you moving year round, but anyone who's been around the trucking industry knows that steady work's horseshit. Everyone has slowdown periods. So the problem is their slowdown periods are a lot more frequent than what they said they were going to be. So all that, combined with the money, combined with the shape of the equipment they run, it really did make up my mind to move to the new place of work. And I think it'll work out a little bit better. It's all hourly pay, whether I'm working in the city or whether I'm doing highway mileage, it doesn't matter. It's all straight hourly pay, so if the truck breaks down or if the truck's got issues, I get hourly pay to fix it, or I get hourly pay to sit there and wait for it to be fixed. So I think everything's going to work out a lot better. Plus they have some equipment around the dooryard and they might need a guy to operate that from time to time, and yeah, I've kind of been missing it. I do genuinely enjoy operating excavators and front end loaders and stuff like that. It's sort of, it keeps the day interesting and keeps the day moving, I guess one could say. So, sort of missed that. So I'm ready to move back into that stuff again, sort of just like back home and working on the rigging and making sure it's actually in good shape and all that, and that it's actually roadworthy and everything actually works on it is going to be nice again too. It'll basically make me feel like I'm right back at home again, so I'm excited for that.